Hello, Eric here. Today I have a video I have hesitated to make that I'm not really sure that I should be putting out there. But yeah, whatever. Here goes. And today this video is just completely unscripted. You like a couple of the videos I've made, I've had like a script to read, and I find that to be clunky. So most of the time, what I do is I just have an outline of topics, but not today. Today I don't even have an outline. There's only one thing on my mind. The craziest thought. And I apologize. I've been eating I've been eating some mixed nuts. I got a lot of got like cashews stuck between my teeth. But yeah, today I'm just thinking about the truth with a capital T, ultimate truth, like the shocking revelation that I had a couple days ago. After I made my last video, which was about the development of the will, I realized just how wrong I am about that. The last category, what I called, I think I called it like all consciousness. And the way I explained it was by saying that it's like we're all one consciousness, except each of us seems like a wave on top of the ocean. And it was only a few hours later that I realized just how wrong I am, just how incorrect that is. And that's what I want to talk about. Because what I have discovered is the shocking revelation that I am completely alone. That the statement that Atman is Brahman is completely correct. What does this mean? Well, Atman is the subjective consciousness, the perspective that I'm currently seeing from. Atman is the individual consciousness that sees from these eyes, the individual consciousness that hears through, these ears, that thinks these thoughts that are appearing in my head. It's the individual perspective. And Brahman is supposed to be the idea of the universal consciousness, the God consciousness, the all consciousness. And the traditional use of these terms, or at least in a Hindu context, and I'm saying roughly Hindu because it's hard to even call Hinduism like a religion, like a unified religion, because there's so many different practices and different philosophies and outright just different religions, you could say, kind of packed into one. It'd be like calling Christianity, Islam, and Judaism Abrahamism is all one religion. It'd be kind of similar to doing that. But anyways, this is, I guess, what we kind of call all the different religions of the Indian subcontinent, except for Buddhism and Jainism. Um, we call them kind of collectively Hinduism. Um, but the sort of traditional way that many of the Hindus have seen things is that Brahman is the all consciousness that is dreaming all of this. And I was sort of conceiving things in that way too. And I was conceiving things in that way oftentimes because, yeah, forgive me, I've been eating mixed nuts, so I got cashews stuck between my teeth. But a lot of times, how people, or a lot of times, people that I have, whose opinions I've put above my own, or who I think are seeing something I'm not seeing, I've kind of took their word for things. And they have talked about how they have seen the all consciousness or things of that nature, and criticized others for, well, you just think you're alone in your own little consciousness. And I've heard people say things like this over and over. And now I'm realizing that that's just the tricks of Maya. Mara if you want to use the Buddhist interpretation. I hesitate to say the devil or Satan or something like that because like it's very different in Christian mythology, as that character is just like morally evil, but Maya and Mara in Hindu and Buddhist philosophy is more about delusion. It's more about keeping the illusion going, the illusion of well, this is all the illusions of this being a real world, I guess you could say. And I don't believe that anymore. I don't think there's an all consciousness out there. Um, the phrase Atman is Brahman is correct. Not Atman is a part of Brahman. Brahman being bringing the all consciousness. If each of us was like an individual Atman within the the universal consciousness, then you could say that each wave is part of the ocean, and in that case, each Atman would be a part of Brahman or a reflection within Brahman. Or I think early Buddhism had the concept of Indra's net. Where each part of the net had like a jewel in it, and that was supposed to be conscious, an individual consciousness, and then the whole net was supposed to be sort of the universal consciousness. There's parallels. I mean, Indra's net's a little not quite like that, but there's parallels there, right? Um, all that's wrong. It's all wrong. All that is Maya. All that is stuff people have been saying. People have written books to fool me into thinking that there is something beyond me. But there's not. For something to be true, it has to always be present. It has to always be there. If it's not, it's something other than true. It's contingent. Whatever is contingent is not true. Okay? I mean, just think about it for a minute. It's kind of obvious. Whatever is true cannot be contingent. It's always there. Always. So this idea that there is a consciousness beyond the immediate Atman, beyond the immediate what I'm seeing, hearing, smelling, etc., right here, right now, is false. Or at least it's not true. There's nothing else to see. There's nothing else beyond. And if there was something beyond, all it would become is part of my own consciousness when I go to see it. It would still just be this consciousness. There's not a separate consciousness in other people or behind the eyes of other people. There's not a separate consciousness that's looking through their eyes or hearing through their ears. Other people don't exist. I don't believe in it anymore. I mean, really, this body, this character right here, Eric, doesn't exist either. Really. Right now, there's just this dream that I'm having, and I'm sort of dreaming that I'm playing this character, Eric. But he doesn't exist. He's just a character in this current movie for now. But other people definitely don't exist. There's no consciousness behind anything else. There's only the consciousness that's here. It's the only one that's always present. And if I ever did see through the eyes of someone else, it would just be seeing through this consciousness anyways. Atman is Brahman. There's no consciousness beyond this. I am completely alone. There is nothing beyond me. That's a wild thought. And it's completely true. I mean, just think of the implications of this. Everyone I've ever known doesn't exist. Nothing exists except what's here right now. Bishop Berkeley's "to be is to be perceived" is completely the case, and he tried to avoid the solipsism that I'm entertaining quite deeply right now by saying, well, things beyond my immediate consciousness are being perceived in the mind of God. And so, other people exist, and the houses exist, and the trees exist, even though I'm not looking at them right now, because they are perceived in the mind of God. I don't get out of this that easy. I don't get to indulge in such a flight of fancy. Excuse me. No. What's true is what's here always. There is nothing beyond this right here, right now. There's nothing beyond the camera and the water bottle, the desk. Everything that exists is right here, right now. Anything else is just something that's popping up in the mind. I imagine the trees. I imagine the other houses. I imagine my grandfather sitting in his house right now. None of it exists. You can't fool me anymore. Like, it seems like it exists, right? Like everything in this world is sort of set up to fool me, to fool me into thinking that there's something beyond me, that I'm in sort of a real world. And for a while, I think the most naive part of this is we think this is like a physical world. That there's this real physical world out there, and we're all just kind of in it. That's sort of the naive part. But then I sort of made an idealist, like an objective idealism out of that. I like maybe my own version of something that Bernardo Kastrup might go around saying, if you're familiar. That's sort of the next level of all this, you know. But it's still putting reality onto things. It's still avoiding this most taboo of thoughts, which is that no, I'm alone. There's nothing beyond my immediate consciousness. Atman is Brahman. It's not. It's not a part of Brahman. It's not. There's not many Atmans within Brahman. There's not many individual consciousnesses within the all consciousness. No. The entire world is contained in the immediate consciousness. Atman, right here, right now. What we would call my individual consciousness, like in ordinary language, what I am currently aware of. That's the ordinary language part of it. That's it. That's it. That's what's present right here, right now. That's what's always present right here, right now, is what I immediately see. And if and again, and this is the mind blowing part. If I would blow this out into seeing everything everywhere all at once, or seeing the universe in its totality through this consciousness, it would still just be this consciousness. It would still just be this consciousness. It wouldn't be that there was another conscious that I could see, that you're like another person is seeing through their eyes, and I could now see through their eyes. No, no, no. I'm still seeing through this consciousness. This one right here, right now is it. That's it. I mean, I keep repeating myself at this point, but it's just such an amazing thought. It's so stupendous to say that I'm alone. Nothing else exists. There's nothing else out there, and you can't fool me about this anymore. Like that's another weird one. You can't fool me. I mean, I can think of so many circumstances now that people whose opinions I respected were sort of taken by Maya. And by the way, I don't literally believe in Maya. I just it's just sort of a rule of the dream, kind of like gravity is like a general rule. You know, it's not like gravity has to exist. You know, I mean, even in a consensus reality sort of perspective, you can go out into outer space and you can go to places where gravity doesn't, you know, is so weak that it basically doesn't exist, right? So it's not like gravity is this hard and fast rule at all times in all places or anything. Well, same thing with Maya. You don't I don't have to dream a dream that contains this constant attempt to fool me into thinking that this is real. Okay, but it's just kind of part of this. It's kind of just baked into to having this dream that there's this force that fools me into thinking that it's real, which is supposed to make it more fun, right? Like you can imagine a VR program that would be a lot of fun, right? Right, to think you're actually in the VR program, right? Anyways, that's basically what this place is. It's a giant VR program where I am fooling myself into believing that this or like I've set it up in such a way that that the this mind cognizes things in such a way that it tends to believe that this is all real. Okay, and that's and we're calling that force Maya, and we're just sort of personifying it to you know give it sort of a human face. Anyways, I can think of circumstances where Maya has co-opted people who um, I thought were more awake than me, further along the path, and they weren't. Like I have a friend. I won't say his name, but I remember having a conversation with him one time, and like my entire friend circle thought he was like maybe the most advanced out of all of us. And now I look back and I go, no, nope, just another personification of Maya. Well, anyways, I remember having this conversation with him where I told him, I told him about my suspicions about the kind of the thoughts that I'm having now, the thoughts I'm very convinced of now, and I told him, well, so I don't really have proof that other people are conscious, and he was like, well, just look into their eyes, though. Can't you tell? And I had to tell him, like I get where you would say that. That's the intuition, right? Like everything's sort of set up to make you believe that. But no, I can't see through their eyes. I can't hear through their ears. I can't think their thoughts. I have no proof of this. I really don't. And he just sort of looked at me like, well, can't help you with that, bud. Like you're on your own. To me, it seems obvious. And it's like now that I think back and like, oh man, which leads me to another thought, another realization that I've had. I in my first video, I told the story of how I lost my childhood religion, and like when I made my first video, I figured I had to tell that story because that's where everything got started. That's where I got started along this path of like philosophy and skepticism and thinking about the truth is the moment I lost my childhood religion. And I'm not going to retell the whole story here. The brief synopsis is that I had a neighbor that took me to a televangelist revival, like a Benny Hinn revival, and I realized just how full of shit these people are. And that extended to not just the people here at this revival, but like everyone I've ever known has no idea what's going on. Parents, teachers, everyone. No one has any clue. And I realized I'd had to figure it out all out for myself. It was the biggest moment in my life. I was probably only about 11 years old or so. Well, that's where all this started. And the key realization was no one else has any idea what's going on. And Maya has tried to co-opt this idea over and over and over. So if anyone else is on this path, which is a weird thing to say, I know what I'm saying when I say that. There's no one else on this path. No one else can wake up. There's no one to wake up. You know, this character isn't even, you can't even wake up this character because it's just a character within this dream. I'm just pretending to be this character. But this character is expressing the thoughts of it's expressing what this dream is. It's weird, anyways. But pretending other characters can wake up for a minute. If I was going to give them advice, I would say that don't listen to anyone. No one. Not even me. Figure it out for yourself. You have to. You have to. You cannot let go of that. Because over and over and over, what Maya has done is co-opted other people whose opinions I respect and turn it around on me to send me off on wild goose chases. Like my friend who would say, can't you just tell that other people are conscious? I had an ex-girlfriend who, because I've long been fooled by the idea that there's something within 5-MeO DMT that I'm missing. If I could just get beyond, if I could just go all the way in 5-MeO DMT, I would realize something. Like there's something in that. You're not fooling me with that anymore. No. What's true is always present. I don't need 5-MeO to see it. I don't need anything to see it. What's true is always present, always. There's no special state to obtain that's going to give you the truth. If you think there's some sort of special state that's going to give you the truth, you're going to suddenly see it. You're fooling yourself. There's no nibbana that's going to give you the truth. What's true is always true in all states at all times. It's always here. Anyways, Maya over and over has co-opted this idea that there's some special state or some special seeing that I could enter into. And people that would enter, special states that I sort of suspected might be where it is. I've listened to, I've overvalued their opinions, and Maya has really co-opted their opinions. I have an ex-girlfriend who did 5-MeO DMT, and she came out of it saying, "Well, you think you're alone. You think you're alone, and really you're not." And man, I took that for years. That sent me on a wild goose chase. That what she said, and now I'm looking back on it, going, "No, it was pure fooling, pure fooling, pure Maya." Oh man, it cracks me up. So many people that I just look back on it. Either I temporarily respected their opinions due to some state that they were in. Another one's the Buddha back here. All of it. All of it. Like spirituality especially. Like I'm looking at Buddhism going, Buddhism is bullshit. Like holy cow, that is a wild goose chase. If you are moral and you meditate a lot, you'll enter this special state of nibbana and then you'll see the truth. Good one. Good one. Even in Veda Vedanta, which I'm kind of looking at as being maybe closest to getting, understanding all of this, still has elements of, even Bernadette Roberts, who I up to this point I strongly respected. I'm now thinking about the things she said, going, what the fuck is this woman talking about? Because she talks about entering these different states, and then she had to, the line between her and God had to drop. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about now anymore. I thought I did, but not anymore. Truth is what's here right now, always. It's not true otherwise. And that thought has just guided me to this. There's nothing. Atman is Brahman. Atman is Brahman. It is Brahman. They're the same, exactly the same. There's not two. There's not two consciousnesses. There's not a small Atman, my Atman that I'm seeing right here, right now, within a larger Brahman. No, that would be two, one within another. There's not two separate consciousnesses. There's not me here and God out there. There's not me here and you out there. No, there's just this one, the immediate one that I'm seeing through right now. None of you are real. And that's the most insane statement. I've been saving it for this whole video. None of you are real. And now at this point, I think people are going to think I belong in an insane asylum. I sound like a crazy person. That's fine. I sound like a crazy person. I'm a heretic for saying it because everything in this world is designed to make me think that this is a real place. But when I rationally step back and I start looking at the facts, that is not the case. There's no proof of any such thing. I am here alone dreaming this dream, and it's cool. Now when this thought first appeared, for about 10 seconds, it filled me with terror. Like I was like, "Oh man, this is bad." Because I realized right away it's true. That I had been pushing this. I had been finding any other thing I can to not believe this. Um, Man, I've done every other belief, all of them, all of them. Well, except for the ones that were obviously bullshit, like Christianity. Well, I mean, as a kid, I guess I did Christianity, and I guess, or at least that's the story. That's the how I interpret the memory of things that pops up. Um, I've done a lot of different beliefs, a lot, and all of them are false except for this one. I can't deny this one. I can't deny consciousness because here it is, and it's always here, even when I go to sleep. Just a different kind of consciousness. None of this is real. There are no other people here. Yeah, I mean, they'll say that they're real. They like to be treated as if they're real. And some of them that are close to me and view my channel might think I'm crazy. They'll think I'm a crazy person. That's fine. They they already think I'm crazy anyways. So I'm perfectly healthy, by the way. That if it if any of you characters out there who might be related to me or know me personally, and you think I've like lost my marbles, no, I'm perfectly healthy. I'm doing fine. I have my ups and downs and all arounds like everyone else. Today, what did I do? I shoveled snow and took out the trash and ate some mixed nuts. you know, Probably play some video games later. But I'm perfectly healthy. I'm perfectly fine. I'm not crazy, even though I might sound that way to other people. You know, I understand how it sounds to other people, and I think that alone is enough to prove that I'm not crazy. I'm not like if you talk to like a schizophrenic on the street. I don't know if you've ever talked to like an actual schizophrenic. Like they don't make sense. Like they'll talk about like I when I was homeless, I talked to a schizophrenic once, and he would go on and on about how the government is bouncing sound off walls, and the rest of us that were listening to him would be like, yeah, well, yeah, it's called radio. It's like they've been doing that for a long time. He'd be like, no, 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 you don't understand. And it was just all these different conspiracies, and of course they would hear voices and this sort of thing. Um, no, I'm not suffering from any mental illness. I'm really not. Like I'm probably far healthier than most people are, to be honest. No, I've thought this through. This comes from years of rational thought, and it's wild. I'm just as astounded as probably anyone else. It's an amazing thought. It sounds so unlikely. It sounds just stupendous that I am alone. I'm alone. There's nothing else here except for this. This is the truth. There's nothing beyond it. That's an amazing thought. I mean, that's wild, but it's true. Prove me wrong.